Hey, Westy here. Okay, today we're going to do a quick video on how to set up the mixing in a DX7S to work with an IKON FBL controller, basically to set your self-leveling device, or settings. Is two settings that I use, 1 and 3 banks, and basically so what it does is what I want to do is set it up so that when you actually are inverted and you bail out with the IKON to do self-level recovery, auto recovery, you want it to flip over back into normal. But if you're inverted and you flip it over into you flip it out when you're actually freaking out and you've got negative pitch going, it's going to basically start smashing into the ground because you're going to have your stick down. So this is basically designed to add some pitch so that when you are upside down it will actually flip over and rise rather than actually crash. So alright, so we'll just cut to the chase and we'll get into it. Cheers. Our DX7 here, and what we're going to do is set the mixing up on it so that your IKON controller can when you're in inverted mode and you're bailing out with your IKON, it will apply positive pitch rather than negative pitch. When it flips back over in negative pitch, it's obviously going to go straight for the deck, so let's not do that. Okay, so we'll just make sure all our switches are all sorted, and also what I've done is I've actually assigned this switch here, the gear switch, through mixing to be my active control. So otherwise you can only use like these flap switches that you normally use, but this one's easier to get to with your hand and very quick to get to. It's just hard to flick it off if you're not concentrating, so that's why you want to have it set up right. So yeah, so that's the gear switch. So I'll show you how to do that. So the first thing we want to do, I'll just want to show you that I haven't got any mixers set up in the so basically hold down your button and turn it on, and then go down to mixers. Sorry, switch select, and you see I've got no active, nothing's active. I haven't got any switch selected active at all, so you don't need to do that for this DX7 for this particular setup. So just go back. I'm in my Goblin setup, so go in and go all the way down to mixing. Oh, first of all, with the IKON, I've got the gyro set up actually in the IKON software, so I'm able to use a gyro channel to actually switch my controller from setting flight mode 1 to flight mode 3. And the way you do that, you set your position 0 at -100 and your position 1 at 100, and then I've got my channel set on aux 2 and my switch to mix, because I've set up in the mix section, I've actually set it up so that it will work, and I'll show you how to do that now. So I hope that makes sense. So gyro set up in the actual IKON controller, and I'm using the gyro channel to actually do my switching for the IKON flight mode. So I hope that makes sense. This is for DX7S, I'm not too sure how you do it with an 8 or 9. Okay, so we go out of gyro and we want to get into mixing. So we get into mixing and you scroll across till you get to the cyclic throttle mix. Click in and then move down into mix 1. I've actually got this mix set up, so you'll be able to see what I've done here. So the first thing I've done is I've set the gyro, because normally it'll say INH, or inactive and inactive, on the pitch as well, on there, and it'll have by default 0, 0, 0, and it'll also have nothing selected here at all. So what I've got here is I've changed it to gyro to mix with pitch, and I've set it up at a rate of 60. So when I actually flick remember I set up the gyro as a gear switch, and that's so you can see the movement down the bottom of the gyro when I flick my gear switch, which is at the bottom left front. That does that. So but it will do nothing to anything else. Even though I've got it mixing with the pitch at 60%, it won't do anything until the critical thing is selecting which mode you want that to be applied in for the mix. So in normal mode, I don't really, it doesn't really bother me. I don't need any increase in pitch, because you know, when you're only really flying at above mid stick anyway. It's when you're inverted that you want it to actually have some effect. So I've got it inverted. So to test to see if that works through the monitoring part, you flick it into activate for the gear as if you're activating your flight mode, bailout, and then flick it into mode 1 for idle up. And basically what happens, so now it's not actually working that good, so I'm just going to move that up, and from what I've read, one guy actually was kind enough to share some information. So 79 is pretty much the golden number, and it's still, see at lower stick, so I'm below centre, I'm still actually applying a slightly positive pitch. The thing is though, if you are in positive and you're bailing out, man, will this thing serve to the moon, because it just really cranks, because you can't control, unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a way to control the mix above above central, because it's actually offsetting so much. So what happens now is that, because I'm just below mid stick, when it flips over it's actually still going to rise rather than actually go, whereas here it'll actually pretty much sit about, it'll just slowly descend, but that's at maximum negative pitch. But when I'm actually getting about 3/4 of the way, or actually, yeah, even, you know, normally you would be sitting around there for hovering inverted, it's actually going to flip over back to the normal way up, and it's going to rise, so that will actually save you. But if you are not inverted when you're bailing out and you're that way, pretty much anything above here, it will put absolute maximum pitch on, and it's really going to bog you down. So once you've recovered, you want to kind of flick it out and come back to normal again. But anyway, that's how I do it, guys. So the actual offset, basically, that you can go negative 100 to positive 100, and what that does is it actually sets from 0, it basically sets the offset. So this is 0 here, so if you want to have it offset, which you wouldn't want to really do it, you can go this way, you know, have the offset down here, but I don't see any point of that. Yeah, unfortunately, it hasn't got a delay selection like the DX9. The DX9 has a delay function where you can set up some real cool stuff, which is set up for stepper motors, etc. They haven't had a lot to do with the DX9, but it's got the capability to actually allow you to have like a 0.2, 0.3 second delay. So when it's flipping out, it's not going to do an arc when it's recovering. If you're doing a high speed inverted or 3D maneuver, it's not going to do a big arc to try and recover, which is okay. It'll still actually end up right side up and heading for the sky, which is where you want it, because then you can bring it back to where you want, and then you got time to bring it down, rather than actually hit the deck and go, man, I wish I had that set up. Anyway, guys, I hope that's been of some assistance or meant something or makes sense. Have a good day. Cheers. Thanks for watching.